Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete. Orbital flight engaged. Landing gear deployed. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Unit engaged. Landing gear deployed. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete. engaged. Landing gear deployed. Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage. Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete. Flight engaged. Landing gear deployed.
There we go. Can you hear me now? Oh well. Yeah. Turns out that the mic was turned off in Streamlabs again. That's the second time that's happened. I'm sure that I've turned it on, and apparently I haven't. So thank you for pointing that out. Right. I feel like a prizing idiot now. Let's see, there's a tick off C5. Yes, I was just recounting my first and only encounter with a Thargoid on a. Is it too loud? I'll turn it down. Hold on. Should be quieter. Well, turn the desktop audio down slightly, and I'll also try tweaking down the overall volume in Pretzel Rocks, although it's very low. It's already very low. Oh no, 6 hours and never looked at the chat. Ay ay ay. There we go. Turned it down to 11% in Pretzel Rocks, so that should be a bit better. Funny because it wasn't too loud in Twitch, was it? Yeah, people say that Thargoids aren't hostile as long as you don't attack them, but I dropped into this special signal source it's like a battleground between some human ships, like capital ships, and the Thargoids. It's in one of the systems near the Pleiades. And I didn't know anything about Thargoids back then, and I was just like, oh my goodness, what's that? And it was ignoring me, and then I've decided I might try and scoop up some of the cargo that was floating around in the signal source, and as soon as I did that, they noticed me and attacked me, and I was destroyed. I was only in like an unengineered Cobra Mark III at the time, I think. If I was even in the Cobra, I might have still been in the Sidewinder, but I think I was in the Cobra Mark III back then. So in Twitch it was much lower. That's interesting because I haven't touched anything on Pretzel Rocks, and although I have to like log out and log back in again into Streamlabs to broadcast to YouTube, the mixer settings are almost identical. So strange that it should be so loud before I turned it down just now, that is. Right, let's head on. I need to be a lot more careful about checking things, I think. I need to get in the habit of checking the audio's coming through in the mic before I get going. Were you on headphones before, Azrael?
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. Four, three, two, one. Engage.
Oh, it's a different pair, right. I suppose it could be the headphones. What? I wouldn't have thought the headphones would alter the mix between my audio and the music though, but I'm not an expert on audio. I know virtually nothing about it actually. It's quite a gap in my knowledge. Just a shame really, because my late grandfather knew quite a lot about it. I mean, he was the sort of guy that they used to get to do the audio setup for any kind of a public event. It's just the sort of thing he liked to know about, so he did know about it, so he'd always be the one that was responsible for setting it up. for any kind of community event that where they needed audio, speakers or microphones or anything like that. Oh, by the way, so I was looking up ground cherries, apropos of our previous conversation, and it turns out a ground cherry is what's called a physalis in this country, more commonly known as a physalis than a ground cherry, which I did have one once for tubish fat, which is to say I had half of one once for tubish fat, and it was absolutely disgusting. It tasted like soap, so I didn't like them actually. Yeah, they've got like a sort of papery outer sort of like leaves that are like, they're more like petals and they're all papery, and then it's like an orange colour, isn't it? If we're talking about the same thing, because I tried looking it up, and it's a physalis, and certainly back when my taste buds worked properly, I'm one of the people for whom they taste absolutely revolting. Apparently they don't taste like that for everyone, and it's like a genetic thing. So, yeah, if they're not ripe, they're nasty. I don't know, maybe none of the ones that they sell in this country are ripe then. But I've heard that there are people that can taste a particular compound in them that makes them taste really bad, like soap. And then there are other people that can't actually taste that compound, and they taste fine. And it's genetic whether you can taste it or not. So some people can, some people can't. So some people hate it, some people don't. I've encouraged my dad to get some goji berries because he's been feeling a bit under the weather. So put that on his little whiteboard to remember to get some.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Okay. Right, where are we going next? That's ABC1. Oh, it's got a moon. It's got a landable moon. ABC 1A. So what have you been up to since we last spoke then, Asriel? Anything good? Ah, harvesting peppers.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Jolly good. Feel like spicy food. I have to be careful sometimes. I can tolerate spicy food, and other times it gives me terrible heartburn. I like it. Yeah. With a name like Reaper Peppers, that sounds like the sort of thing I definitely couldn't eat without it dissolving me insides. I don't mind eating the stuff, but it's the pain of the heartburn. If I'm not been sleeping well particularly, I can't really tolerate the spicy food. First time you had one you thought you'd die. I guess it must be an acquired taste then. I guess that's how they get their name though, right? People eat them, they think they're having a near-death experience.
Orbital flight engaged.
Funny looking surface, this one. Strangely flat and shiny. They have like these sort of chili pepper eating competitions that I'm aware of, where they like start people off with the not particularly hot ones, and then they like work their way up the sort of scale of hotness. And I think usually the last one they have people eating is like one of those ghost peppers or something, which is like the top on the scope. What is it, Scoville scale or something like that they measure peppers with. Feels like someone punches you in your gut and is trying to actively rip them out, but you build up a tolerance to them, and once you can handle them they have a flavour that no other pepper has. That's cool. I mean, I would like to try more Mexican cuisine. One of the problems is Reaper peppers are hotter than ghost peppers. Alright, so that must be the one they finish with then. Yeah, with the Mexican cuisine, it calls for like different named kinds of pepper, and many of those types of pepper are not actually either easily available in this country, or if they are available, nobody labels them as that. Because in this country it's like nobody knows about different kinds of chili pepper, it's just red ones and green ones. And maybe some people might know what a Scotch bonnet is, but I think a lot of people don't even realise that a habanero is a Scotch bonnet. They're the same kind of pepper. So I mean, I didn't know for ages that habanero was a Scotch bonnet, that they were the same thing. So if you get one of these Mexican recipes and it calls for like ancho chilies and dried this chili and these chipotle chilies and all the, you know, you just can't get it unless you've like gone to some kind of specialist gourmet delicatessen food emporium place somewhere fancy, in which case they'll probably charge you an arm and a leg for it. At the end of the day, it's still just chili pepper. So they like charge you extra because they've actually written the name of the what kind of chili pepper it is on the package. Yeah, well, that's the good thing. If you grow them yourself, you know exactly what you're growing, and then you can just grow whichever ones you need. But even getting the seeds in this country, unless you like go into some kind of specialist chili seed place, they'd just sell them to you as chili seeds, and then you'd put them in a pot and wait and see what kind of chilies you got, and hope that you knew enough about chilies to recognise it from looking at it, because they wouldn't tell you on the seed packet even. When I grew some chilies, didn't say what kind of chilies they were, it was just like, chilies. Just like, plant these. Oh look, they look like the seeds from a chili, and plant them in the pot, wait for them to grow. Okay, ABC2. If you would have ordered the amount of peppers you picked today, you would have paid 300 to 350 US dollars. How many peppers is that then? I've got no idea how much these Carolina Reaper jobs go for.
Landing gear retracted.
I mean, is it like several kilograms worth of peppers? You probably don't work in kilograms, do you? Probably work in pounds, don't you?
Frameshift drive charging.
I could probably convert it though.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
They're about 22 US dollars per ounce dry. That's expensive. Does that cost hardly anybody grows them? You got a few pounds. Wow, yeah. Goodness. I may not work in pounds and ounces, but even I can do that maths. Wow. See. So, is that because they're particularly difficult to grow, or is that because they're so hot that there's little demand for them? One thing's for sure, I bet your kids don't get to your reaper peppers before you can harvest them and eat them all like they do with the goji berries. Right. I thought as much. It's the lack of demand. The specialist food that only the real die-hard chili fans can stomach. So no wonder they're so expensive. So, do you ever sell any of your crop then, or do you manage to use more for personal use? You dry them out and use them. Did give them to some friends before, they didn't like them. Were these friends like chili fiends, or were they just like regular people?
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Okay. They like hot food, but they didn't like the reaper peppers. Wait a minute. No, that was... Wait a minute, I'm heading to the wrong thing. Whoa. I'm there, I was supposed to be on to 2A. When did that happen? Glad I spotted that before I went all the way back where I'd come from.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
This one looks like some kind of ping pong ball. Very white and shiny. Or if not a ping pong ball, then at least like a hockey ball or a really cross ball, because it's got all those sort of like dirty scuffs and scratches on it. Tweak up the speed slightly here.
Orbital flight engaged.
That fly's annoying me. Normally never ever ever have flies because I keep the windows closed. That one must have tailgated me in when I came in. It's doing me nut. Just have to keep ignoring it. Ah, boy. I'll find something to slap it to death with later. There is no flight, it's not there, just looking at you, mocking you, breathing your air, lol. It landed on my other monitor a moment ago to like shoo it off. It's a hazard having a fly in the cockpit. Can't be allowed.
Landing gear deployed.
And so far that nobody's introduced any animal life into this game. There's the intelligent alien life form of the Thargoids. They're not animals. Uh, the Thargoid barnacles aren't really animals either. I mean, we call them barnacles. I don't think they're actually barnacles, which would be animals. So we've got some alien plant species. But maybe in some future update we'll get other things that move around and are actually, I don't know, interactable with in some way. You can like catch them and put them in little sample jars. I don't know. Be cool to take life from one planet and see what happens when you move it to another. Well, I mean, there are so many planets. If we screw one or two up by doing that, then it wouldn't really matter too much, would it? As long as there wasn't already something else living there. We could try doing that. I think it'd be nice if you like went to some of the space stations and they had like little pots with like electric egg growing in them, or receptor or whatever. I still haven't found any receptor myself. I'm looking forward to finding my first receptor. Right. Or you could even just grow some window boxes with tussocks in. I mean, they're very hardy. Tussocks will grow just about anywhere. They're not picky at all. But instead, even just the genetic information has to be like kept behind a sort of biosecurity screen in Vista Genomics. Right. That's that. And the last one will be ABC3, and I think then we're done in this system. There was no life and no geology in this system at all.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
So I was musing earlier to myself, thinking about Salvation and that whole business with his predicting the Thargoid attack on the Kunsar system. Now, I wasn't there, I didn't see any of what happened or in what order it happened, but having heard from other people, it very much sounds to me like Salvation or somebody lured the Thargoids to the Kunsar system deliberately, which of course allowed him to predict that they would arrive there, in order that he could then deploy his weapon of mass destruction, which not only killed many Thargoids, in fact all the Thargoids that were in Kunsar, but I believe it also killed many humans as well. And it causes me to seriously doubt Salvation's true intentions here, especially when they make, statements like, only I can save humankind and that sort of thing. The sort of person I'd be willing to trust wouldn't make statements that sounded like that. That's all I can say. So, and I know a lot of the players that were helping Salvation out were kind of doing it not because they trust Salvation, just because in a game people prefer to make things happen than to not have things happen. Like, if you gave somebody in a game a choice between sort of leave it alone or poke it with a stick, they pretty much take poke it with a stick every time, because at least that'll make something happen. So I think that's why people are interacting with this salvation chappie with such enthusiasm, because there's a lot of players that would rather make anything in the game happen, even if it wasn't a good thing. And people aren't like that in real life. I mean, in real life, if you were going on a tour around a factory, yeah, and you saw a big button on the wall, there's no way you'd press it. You just wouldn't do that. But if you were in a game and you were being taken on a tour around a factory and you saw a big button on the wall, and as you walked past it, it was like, press E to interact. Like, probably 90% of people would press E just to see what happened. And I think game designers know that. So there's like a lot of meta going on there, where it's like, oh, the game designer wants me to press E, otherwise they wouldn't have made the button interactable. So it's going to make something happen, and I've paid for this content, so I want to see it happen. You know? And the game designers are like, I know the player's going to press the button because I've made it so that they can press the button. So I'd better make something happen when they press it, otherwise they'll be disappointed. So it's kind of like feeds in one into the other. That's where the save button was made, so that people press it and then they'd try the thing because they knew that their game was safe. I have to admit, in games where you can just save, anytime I was about to do something where I didn't know what the outcome was going to be, of course I saved the game before I did it. Kind of scummy, but I used to do it. Sure, I used to do it because I know that I'm curious. I'm a curious type of person. I find myself in a lot of situations where I think, well, I'll have a, are you going to be lurking because you got stuff to do? Cool, alright then, lurk away, Hatslocker, with your stuff. I'll carry on talking. Yeah, I mean, I like to try things, and sometimes I get crazy ideas for like, oh, what will happen? No, there is no save button in Elite Dangerous. There are a lot of other games where it's like, no, you can't just save in the middle, cause. But I mean, in Skyrim, for example, I would often do that. If I was like, okay, I'm gonna save the game, and then I'm gonna do this thing that might not be a good idea, but I'm gonna do it anyway and see what happens.
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Yep. I think it's time to leave this system. I can turn off that finish for a second thing. Right. Where will we go next?
Frameshift drive charging.
This is a brown dwarf, so we won't be able to scoop in this next system, but then we knew we weren't going to be able to.
2, 1, engage.
Yeah. I was trying to throttle down and it wasn't even responding. Luckily the helm was still responding, even though the throttle wasn't. Otherwise we would have burnt ourselves on that brown dwarf. Right. Let's do the scan. It's all going to be icy stuff, isn't it? Because it's brown dwarf time. So it's only icy bodies. It's not enough of anything going on otherwise. Oh, what's that? Housefly stopped zooming around in front of my eyes. Icy bodies. One last chance for one of these icy bodies to have something the slightest bit interesting about it. Anything at all. Can have rings, could have geology, could have funticular on it. In trouble finding it. It's not behind the star. So, where is it? Where's it gone? Ah, there it is.
System scan complete.
They're all very dull. But all planets matter. So we are going to map them and land on them. And love them and call them George. Uh-oh. I'm going too fast. I'm gonna overshoot. Too many thinking about things. Uh-oh. very dark on the dark side, doesn't it?
Surface scanned by 50%. Surface scan complete.
Now, even the light side of this planet's probably quite dark because of the lack of illumination from the Y-type brown dwarf. But that doesn't matter because it's not like we're going to try and do anything on the surface. Just going to get out and have a jump about for a bit.
Orbital flight engaged.
I can hardly believe it'll be Hoshana Arbor already by tomorrow. Time just whizzes by. It's like aubergine coloured, this one. Sorry.
Landing gear deployed.
Yeah. Looks like a good place to land. There you go. Extremely low temperature. on there. Sorry about that. Had a bit of an issue somewhere else with something. Right. Yes, this is a new system, so draw a line.
Landing gear retracted.
And we've got planet 3. Glad there are only 9 planets to do here.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
So 6 jumps from my next waypoint. Check I've got enough fuel to get there. It's showing up fuel star over there, so that's fine. I have a feeling all these planets are going to be much of a muchness. They'll all have a sort of dark purplish look to them as a result of the pardon me. As a result, the brown dwarfs tend to give off that a very weak purple light. None of them will have an atmosphere. And one wonders what level of individuality any of them will have. This is why a lot of people would skip a system like this, but someone has them at them. And it may as well be me. After all, I'm not doing this for the exploration rank because I'm already at elite in exploration. It's the only thing I am at elite in. I'm not doing it particularly for the cash. By the time I come back to the bubble, I'm sure I'll have done enough exploration to have made some cash, and then I'll do some other things, and the other things presumably will make cash. I mean, the only things that I really tend to lose money on is if there's some kind of ship-based CZ for a community goal. I tend to lose money on them because the repairs to my ship end up costing me more than the combat bonds are worth. That the ammunition, of course. And on occasion I also get blown up, there's that too. So the other thing that I've lost money on is all the Odyssey gameplay, because it all goes horribly wrong and ends up leaving you with bounties and fines and Apex taxi fares to pay. And of course you never get paid for doing any of it because it always bugs out. So I'm sure I'll make back anything that I lost and then some.
Surface scan complete.
And I'll sell my data. Someone was showing what the leaderboard for the current community goal is, and the top 1%, the top person there is, I think they've turned in over 943 Earthlight worlds. Yeah, they can't possibly have collected all of those from when the from I don't know why I keep yawning. I can't possibly have connected all of those from when the CG started. My guess is that somebody that's been out in the black for a very long time and is holding all their data and just thought, you know what, I'm gonna come back and turn that in for the community goal. That's my guess anyway. You might have your own opinion. But 943 is too many to have done organically in this amount of time. Because they'd have to be new Earthlight worlds. So even if you like knew where there were 943 and you just like went round all of them and scanned them, that wouldn't do because you've already scanned them, so you can't scan them again. So you have to find nearly 1,000 new ones. So no way somebody's done that in a couple of days' time. There are systems with like multiple Earthlight worlds in them. I've been to systems like that. I think the most I ever found in one system was, I mean, not counting Sol where they've terraformed stuff, but like just regular Earthlight worlds that aren't the result of terraforming. In other words, found in uninhabited systems. I think the most I ever found in one system was 4. That's still pretty good. And it was 4 and a couple of water worlds as well. It was impressive. I should have paid more attention to what kind of star it was because it must have had a huge habitable zone. Oops. Actually, now I come to think of it, wasn't all round one star. There was more than one star in the system, so that does help. So it didn't have to be like one gigantic habitable zone, but still 4 Earthlight worlds in one system. Don't even remember which system it was. These little ice bodies are so cold.
Landing gear retracted.
Right, let's do number 2 next.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right. At least they're not too far away from each other. At some point, I'm going to want to build a new ship, and one of the things I haven't tried yet is hostage rescue missions. So I'll probably build a new ship to do hostage rescue missions with. I wonder what kind of ship would be the best for that. Having never done a hostage rescue mission, I don't really know how they go, but obviously to do one you'll need a hatch breaker limpets module. You'll need at least a cargo rack to pick up enough of the capsules. Presumably they come out in capsules, like rescue. You know what I mean. Life support jobbies. Escape pods. That's the words I'm looking for. Escape pods. Presumably they come out in escape pods, but you scoop them up and have to put them in a cargo hold spot. This planet certainly looks very dark. Although the highlights on it are very reflective. Strange, eh?
Orbital flight engaged.
Yeah. wherever we choose to land, it's going to be dark and hard to see what we're doing. For hostage rescued, and in addition to cargo racks and hatch breaker, I imagine you'd need a decent shield, because as soon as you try and break the hatches open on a ship, it's going to get hostile on you. That's assuming that it doesn't become hostile instantly as soon as you end up. You probably need FSD interdictor module as well. I've usually got one of them hanging around spare from bounty hunting ships though. That's unless I ended up accidentally selling it when the outfitting interface was super broken. It just assumed you wanted to sell your modules as soon as you bought a new one. Yeah. So, FSD interdictor, hatch breaker limpet, cargo rack, decent shield. Other than that, what would we need? Because one thing you don't want to do is, I have to turn the night vision on here I think. One thing you don't want to do is destroy the ship, because you're trying to rescue the people on it. So once you've got them safely aboard, you can go ahead and destroy the ship, but that's not a priority. So,
Landing gear deployed.
oh yeah, you'll want collector limpets as well to collect the escape pods. Because if you try scooping them up by hand, that's going to be a bit tricky in the middle of a combat. So I'm not quite sure what the best ship would be. It doesn't sound like you need that many modules, so it could probably be done with a small ship. But not one that's so small that you can't fit a decent size cargo rack though. Or even a decent sized collector limpets, because you want to be able to put out plenty of limpets to grab them up quickly. So maybe not a small ship then, because the size of the modules you can put on small ships is reduced. Right, that's Planet 2. Hold on a sec, I'm gonna cough, I'll just mute myself. I'll have to take a look at the ships on Coriolis, have a play around at some point, see what I think. Right. Next one will be 5. So have you got any thoughts on how I should build a hostage rescue ship?
Landing gear retracted.
Stick them in the comments. And while I'm on the subject of stick them in the comments, let me take this opportunity to remind anybody watching this stream after it's live, as a video on demand, please hit the thumbs up, deploy a subscribe to the channel, and fire on the notification bell. Of course, that way you'll know next time I come live on YouTube. it'll tell you.
Drive charging.
Also tell you when I put out my other videos as well, which is usually once a week on a Friday.
4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
However, I have been known on occasion, just very, very rarely, for special occasions to put extra ones out. And the notification bell will let you know whenever that happens. Hip hip hip. Right. Let's get to the 5th planet. What that over there is. Got to take a look in the galaxy map at some point. Try and find it, figure out what it is. See, I'm not even sure that I've picked up any Earthlight worlds since I last sold my data. Because I sold my data when I was in the Crescent sector. There's an inhabited system out there somewhere that I stopped off in. Patched up some minor damage to the ship, sold the data. Interesting, took a look in the Pioneer supplies and there was nothing exciting there. I think, despite the fact that it's pretty out of the way, because it's like the only station for a long way, probably actually gets more traffic than it looks like it would, if you know what I mean. So somebody had probably already scoffed the lot as far as pre-engineered suits and weapons went. Oh, I see, it's like that, is it?
Surface scan complete. Orbital flight engaged.
Dark, dark worlds. So I think maybe the last time I was streaming I was talking about the books that I borrowed from the library. Which I think that's what I was talking about that on. I couldn't remember which book I borrowed from the crime section, so the book that I borrowed from the crime section was Magpie Murders by Anthony Horowitz, which I'm reading, and I've nearly finished it. Not quite. I wouldn't say I've solved it as such, but I've certainly, as soon as one of the major clues presented itself, I capped it straight away. So that's certainly a help. Yeah. This place looks reasonable for landing. Kind of a bizarre book on account of it's a book within a book, and then there are one or two other bits within it which are also written works of considerable length, but not exactly books so much. Certainly somewhat unusual. I know it's not the only book to do a book within a book, but to use it in the way that Anthony Horowitz has in Magpie Murders, I think is relatively novel. Right, I don't know, my brain just went off thinking about something altogether completely unrelated. Sorry about that. Don't know how long I was just like away with the thoughts there. Right, we've run 1, 2, 3 and 5. Need to do 4 next. Did get out there, didn't I? I'm sure I did. With trust that I did it on automatic pilot while I was thinking about bookshops and the pronunciation of surnames and all the other things that my brain went off and thought about that hadn't got anything to do with playing Elite Dangerous or doing a stream.
4, 3, 2, 1, engage.
I'm just watch myself back on the stream now. There's a slight delay. I don't think I did get out, did I? Oh well, I'll leave something for somebody if they're really dedicated. Oh, am I kidding? Everybody else is just going to skip straight through this system. Everybody else. Can't believe it. I went down and landed on a planet and then I forgot to get out. Ah. No, I must have got out. I remember getting out, and I remember what I was thinking when I was standing in the thing. Yeah, no, I must be mistaken. I must be mistaken. Even while I was having all that train of thought, I remember that I was standing in the entry column at one point of having that, so that meant I'd got out. So I have got first footfall. I could easily check it in the system map, but even if I haven't got it, I won't go back. It'd be my own fault if I forgot. So incredibly dull, a brown dwarf. I mean in terms of how much light it puts out, not in terms of excitement. Although, not much better in terms of excitement either. It doesn't quite have the gravity and majesty and awesome appearance of a star in which fusion is taking place, with the plasma loops and the solar flares and the sunspots and the almost molten looking surface. Once you get close enough to it, it's almost deceptive looking. It doesn't look like it's really as hot as it is. Of course it's actually incredibly hot, but when you get that close to it, it's almost scary how it doesn't look hot, and you think, I would think that it wasn't hot, and maybe I would just, try and touch it or something, because it doesn't really look that hot anymore. When you're a long way off from it, it looks hot, but when you get really close to it, it's got that sort of shimmering, molten look. I mean, I've seen actual photographs of the surface of our sun, and when you really zoom in close to it, it actually looks like a pizza. I'm not just saying that because I tend to describe everything in terms of food. It really does. If you know what I'm talking about, if you've ever seen those photographs of very close-up look at the surface of the sun, it's because you have to get rid of all the glare to actually see it, but they can do that. to get rid of the glare and you're actually really looking at it. Looks like pizza.
Orbital flight engaged.
This is interesting, isn't it? Actually enough albedo to see what you're doing on this one. The other ones were very dark. This track feels very cyberpunk.
Landing gear deployed.
Okay. Definitely disembarking this time.
Warning. Extremely low temperature detected.
The galactic plane's looking even more fluffy at the edges, isn't it? Almost, the whole thing looks so fluffy you could almost imagine it's a gigantic nebula. It's interesting how it looks different from different positions. Right, well that was that one. 4. 8 next. Okay.
Landing gear retracted.
Ideally I'd like to finish this system and get to the next one before I finish the stream. Right.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Not too many to go. Once we've done 8, that's actually going to be the 6th planet that we'll have done. There are only 9 altogether. And I hope that the next system's got a bit more variety in it, because I mean there hasn't been a great deal of variety in the planets in this system, and then generally speaking in a brown dwarf system that's the case. Is it possible to drop stone security rank on foot missions? Yes it is. I have to figure out how to... Right. How do I do squad chat again? Right, somebody else has answered them. I need to remind myself how to do squad chat. I looked it up once and then I forgot again. Right, come on, come on, come on. Nearly there. This is another of the really, really dark ones. Oh, it's so dark. Look at that, it's almost completely black.
Surface scanned by 50%.
Right,
Surface scan complete.
let's try and land on this. It's a bit tricky seeing what we're doing with it being so black. I'm going to try and take a photograph of it from outside the ship. Oops. Right. Come on, come on, come on, come on. Come on, screenshot. Do your thing, do your thing. Ugh. Come on, come on, come on. Why isn't it taking the screenshot? There we go, finally. Right. It's like playing chicken. Right.
Orbital flight engaged.
Okay. Very, very dark planet. People in squad chat saying 07. I don't remember how you squad chat. What is it? I'll have to look it up again. Delete. Alright, tab. Whoops. Right. That's what you get for trying to read stuff and land at the same time. No! It's not tab. I nearly killed myself there. Tab is boost. Oh my goodness. Let me give myself a heart attack, that. It says, press tab to toggle chat channel to squadron. No. I should have realised that wasn't going to work, shouldn't I? Oh my goodness. Ugh. Ugh. Let's turn on the night vision. I can't see what I'm doing otherwise. Hot Black Desiato wouldn't mind moving to this planet.
Landing gear deployed.
Right.
Warning. Extremely low temperature detected.
Let's see just how extremely low, shall we? Eight. Oh my goodness, 8 Kelvin. Is that the first time I've been on a planet in single figures? I'm not sure. That is pretty cold. That is pretty cold. Probably be even colder if it was lighter colour. I don't know, because it'd be reflecting more of the heat, wouldn't it? Must be another way to toggle between the squadron chat and the regular chat other than tab. Right, anyway, bit late for that now. Right, Planet 8. I'm gonna call it a night at 9, I think. So we'll go 7 next. See if we can get the last planet done. Just need 7 and 9.
Landing gear retracted.
Then we can do a jump. Then we can find somewhere to land, and then we can log out. I don't like to log out just floating around in space. I prefer to be on my landing gear.
Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
Right. Just trying to look up how you get through the different chat channels again. I very rarely use chat, so despite the fact that I've been playing since November last year, I haven't really got my head around the controls for the chat channels. So it is tab to cycle through the... There's got to be a way to do it when you... So it's slash S or slash squadron, I guess. Oops. We're there faster than I expected. Oh, is 7 and 9 right next to each other? No, they can't be. Surely not. Wait a minute, how did I manage to miss 7 when I did 6 then? 7 had to be nearest when I did 6. Did I do 6? I haven't done 6. So I have to do 7 and 6 and 9. Oh, alright then. squadron chat.
Surface scanned by 50%.
Okay,
Surface scan complete.
this one's not so dark. It's all about the albedo. That like super black one was really the blackest planet I've ever been to. So that was at least something noteworthy about this system. That and the supreme cold on that planet, my goodness. Might have been because it was so cold I couldn't tell whether I was landing on the light side or the dark side, but based on the very few reflective spots I would say it was the light side. Right, 8 Kelvin. Have I ever been anywhere
Orbital
that's
flight engaged.
cooler than 8 Kelvin? I'll have to check in the codex later. Oh, there won't be time now. I want to stop at 9 o'clock, which I kind of do. Alright. Becoming a human rocket? What? Quite a bit of squadron channel chatter going on at the moment.
Landing gear deployed.
Okay. Get me first footfall.
Warning. Extremely low temperature detected.
How extremely low though? Let's see. 9 Kelvin. Interesting. Slightly warmer, even though it's got a higher albedo. Then again, it is closer. It's closer to the star. Right, should be able to get to the 6th planet without too much difficulty.
Landing gear retracted. Frameshift drive charging. 4, 3, 2, 1. Engage.
We can just get to the 6th planet, map that, land on it, and I think then we'll call it a day, because it's 9 now. We're not going to make it to the 9th planet, so don't quite finish the system before it's time to end the stream, but we'll do the 6th planet. People expressing their enjoyment of the game despite the issues. I don't have to worry about FPS drops in settlements because I'm not going to settlements. Oh, pardon me.
Surface scanned by 50%.
Oh, 89%, come on. Can't see which bits I haven't mapped either, that's annoying.
Surface scan complete.
Right, let's give it a land. Now then, what sort of temperature will we get here, I wonder? Someone that's on the way to Sage.
Orbital flight engaged.
Oh, come on. Kinda sad when people are saying, at least it's playable. Yeah, I guess there are games that aren't playable, but still. That shouldn't just be like, we settle for, well, at least it's playable. Okay, Parma Violet. That's what this planet looks like. Ooh.
Landing gear deployed.
Let's back up slightly there. Okay. So quite a few people have been having issues with update 7. Can't say it's broken anything for me as such. But then, like I say, I haven't been going anywhere near any settlements, so let's get first footfall.
Warning. Extremely low temperature detected.
No kidding. Extremely low temperature, but how low? Eight again. 8 Kelvin in the shadow. But my ship casts a large shadow. Ooh. Right. Well, I think we'll stop here for the night. Thank you very much for watching. It's always nice to have people watching live on the stream. It's also nice to have people watching the live streams afterwards. It's why I leave them up, because people like to watch them afterwards as well. So thank you very much if you're watching after I've said all this. So it's like a message I'm sending through time to you. But yeah, thanks very much to the live viewers. And I wish you a good week. And Chag Sameach to anybody that's celebrating Sukkot. And yeah, be well, fly straight, and 07.